video, this segment of this series, I am going to be talking about and breaking down the specific sort of events that I remember of outrages, of anger that this person, whose name is Jo Morth, that we're talking about in this series. And, saying her name is a little bit uncomfortable for me to do, but, I said it. So, anyway, in this series of videos is on the fact that today I did something significant. I pressed a little button, a friend button, that could put in a sort of connection to this person that I've known 9 to 8 years ago now. And so I'm talking about this because this is what I remember and this is what I want to share. Now, there were a couple important moments throughout the whole time that I remember very vividly. And I do not want to speak about them colloquially. That's my goal. So, that first day, that was, nothing really happened. I like something in my teeth. There is something. I think I got it out. Hold on a moment. With my clean. So that first day, that was neutral. It was just okay. And so, that was the way that was. There was something about being, resourceful or something. Just sort of a lesson in that. That wasn't really anything. But then on the second day, I started to get a little bit more of a sense that there might be something fishy here. I don't know why I'm feeling itchy all over the place. So, that second day, I remember she was talking about how the class would be switching. So we would be moving from the current classroom to the other two 5th grade teachers for a certain amount of time. One would teach extra math and the other would do science and social studies, both. So she would go back and forth between a unit on science, and then we would talk about social studies and history and all those kind of things like that. So she was talking about how that would happen and how we would switch over, and then she was talking about how one of the teachers, and there's sort of a side story with that teacher, and she was, she would be teaching science and social studies, and my friend at the time made a little comment saying, or asking rather, will this teacher, straighten out again, will this teacher fly us to the moon or something? And then, at that point she, said something, I don't know. And then there was another instance, which I can remember, where I had another friend at the time who had something of his own possession, and she just, took it away from him. And I did not think that was right. I mean, even though he wasn't supposed to have it out, she should not have taken that away from him. That's just wrong to rob something from somebody if it does not belong to you. And that's just a basic fact of life and ethical lesson. So I do remember that happening. And that's just, that was just, it's just wrong. It's just, and, it's not considerate, and it's so, disrespectful. I think she preached respect, but did not always show respect. That is for sure and certain the truth. And that disrespect really came out in a lot of her anger episodes, I might say. And so, while you're thinking, oh, well, that's, sort of, we all are a little unkind when we're mad. It determines how we're displaying that anger. But, I mean it this time. Now, there were a couple other times, that were very significant. So now I'm going to get into what happened at the very end of the day in the middle of September. Now, what happened? So it was kind of, it was around the middle of September of 2014. It was around the middle of September of that year. And at the end of a day, we did a little sort of side activity where, one day we would go to phys ed, another day would go to art, and then, music, the certain activities that were built into near the end of the day, but not quite the end. And so there was one day in September that I remember very well. I think it was September. It was a Monday. And one of the students in the class was crying and, in tears and, upset and hurt that my friend, that I, knew, the one was, ADHD, who got in trouble a lot, who sort of, I want to say, trying to think of the right phrase, sort of suffered the brunt of the whole experience. And so apparently I didn't even notice it at the time, he did something wrong and he hurt this person, maybe teased or said something really offensive or did something really offensive. I don't exactly remember what it was. But then she was walking over very deliberately like this. So if you just were to see me walking in this kind of emotion like that. I don't know. It was very deliberate. So after this person said, what happened, and that this person did it, then she started marching over in very deliberate fashion, and then the next thing that I knew, see, it's terrible. the next thing I knew, she was getting in his face and yelling at him. Yelling at him. And in a way that was very intense. And it was just, I couldn't believe what I was seeing, and that must have felt really scary on, my friend's end of it. Oh my goodness, I'm just going to use his name. On Zane's end of it. I'm sort of, I have a limitation when I can't say a person's name. And sometimes I have to bring that into the context here. I mean, I don't want to restrict myself when I speak. I don't. I mean, I have Mercury in Taurus. That's already sort of an inner sort of boundary of what to say and what not to say. I don't think that I would need that from anything externally to me because of that. And I don't know. So anyway, what ended up happening was she was getting mad at him, then started getting mad at him about the bending chairs and how much money they cost and, whatever. Then she sort of went over to another side of the room and then started yelling at the class for not being responsible and respectful or something like that. And it was very loud, and it was very startling and disturbing and upsetting, and I was experiencing anxiety within that whole context of that 9-month period from September 2014 to May of 2015. Although I don't know if I really expressed it as much as I wish that I would have. But I was experiencing anxiety with that. And so, with that kind of relationship, which wasn't really a relationship at all. Not really, I wouldn't call it that. And so, then things started to happen. I don't know why these glasses are just keep having to adjust them every 2 seconds. So annoying. Okay. Now, that happened, and then something else happened. And then there was a time when we were going on a field trip, and then that happened. Oh, I don't want to get into this.